New York has been in the news a lot on this topic of congestion, having finally, after delays, put in place its congestion pricing. How does that work, and what are you paying attention to in that experiment?
Yeah, so congestion pricing has been implemented in a handful of cities around the world. Stockholm and London and Singapore are often pointed to. What's interesting is that these moves always start off unpopular and then they gain popularity as people actually see what they do. I think people know you're basically paying $9 to enter Manhattan south of 60th Street during peak times. When you drive a car into lower Manhattan, you are creating congestion for everybody else, and you are also taking up a lot of space and creating pollution that affects a lot of people. So charging something to people to compensate for those costs makes a ton of sense to me. And by the way, it benefits those who are driving because if you really want to drive, you pay the toll and then you're going to have less congestion to deal with as you're navigating Manhattan. And by the way, we've already seen that. The rates of traffic and gridlock in Manhattan are way down in the first week of implementation. And I expect that to continue. So I am watching the vehicle speeds in lower Manhattan, which seem to be up. I am watching polls to see if people are coming around to recognize the benefits of congestion pricing. I think that'll lead other cities to look at adopting it, as I hope they will. And I would say I'm also looking at bus speeds. It's one of those secondary benefits of congestion pricing that people may not think about, but with less congestion, the bus can go faster, which makes it a more competitive mode. It actually means you can provide more service because every route is going to happen faster. And that has wonderful equity benefits because people who ride buses are generally those with lower incomes. And if we provide more reliable, better bus service, we're making an important step toward having a more equitable city.
And that's a great example of the virtuous cycle. We talked about the non-virtuous cycle around bigger and wider roads and making exurban areas more appealing. And I think what you're talking about is those same dynamics can play the other direction, but
Mhm.
the start point is not popular, naturally so, because we built our whole society around a different purpose.